So in today's video, I want to speak on Dragon Age the Veilguard. And I want to talk about a few articles that came out that's discussing its current Steam chart numbers, as well as reports of the mass refunds, as well as it's underperforming in the sales category. So if this is your first time checking out the channel, hopefully you'll leave me a like, comment your thoughts, as well as subscribe to the channel. Let's get started here. So this article from that Park Place, pretty much it's saying multiple inside sources support claims of abysmal Dragon Age the Veilguard sales. Despite the pretty picture that the gaming access media has been trying to paint Dragon Age the Veilguard, sales have reportedly been far below projections. This information was first reported by YouTuber Endymion, citing an inside source close to the EA BioWare project. In total, what I'm told is that Veilguard may have sold overall so far anyway in the 500,000 range, Endymion said in a video posted to his popular YouTube channel. Which may sound good to some, but this is completely abysmal for a game of this level. These numbers would put Dragon Age the Veilguard well below noted flops like Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws, which Ubisoft recently confirmed underperforming after selling over 1 million copies. According to Endymion, Veilguard would have to move several million units to be profitable. So generally speaking, Veilguard is not a commercial success, he said. It needed to sell around the 4 to 5 million mark to make a profit at least, and well, it's not doing that. YouTuber Smash JT corroborated this information, citing his own source close to YouTube. Man, you ever notice these guys got all these sources? Anyway, I digress. After hearing that news from Endymion, I couldn't help but reach out to a source at BioWare to find out if this was true. Smash JT said in his own video, linked above. And yes, according to them, this is confirmed. About 500,000 units have sold through, and they've had plenty returns as well. The numbers stated by Endymion are extremely accurate, signaling some seriously troubling times ahead for BioWare and EA. So, I would love to know your thoughts on what you think of what I just read here. Typically, when you have a AAA company like like a Square or Microsoft, EA, for instance, typically in order to really reap a profit, you would have to sell millions upon millions of copies of the game because the budget for the game is so massive. I'm willing to wager that the budget for Dragon Age the Veilguard is definitely over $100 million. I don't know if it's above that. It probably is, but I don't know if it's like at the 200 million mark, but I'm pretty confident it is at 100 million. And for the game to have only sold 500,000 copies estimated, that is pretty bad. Now, if this was an indie game or a single A or double A game, these numbers would be fantastic. But the fact that this is from BioWare and it is from a well-known and established franchise like Dragon Age, these are numbers you would expect in maybe a day, maybe but not total. And this, I believe this is its second weekend as well. So there's a lot going on, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this particular thing. Where do you think Dragon Age goes from here? And don't comment saying go to hell. Give me a real comment. So in this next article, let's take a look at the current Steam numbers for this game. So currently right now, as you're seeing on your screen, this game, well, I can't count this because right now at the time of this recording, it's 11:47 p.m. my time in here in New York. But if you look at the 24-hour peak, 61,063, and All-time peak, I really don't think this number is going to go any higher. 89,418. I really don't think this number is going to climb any higher. I think when this game came out on Halloween, I know for an absolute fact that BioWare definitely wanted this game to at least hit 100,000 because that's a good little milestone, But the fact that it fell just shy of 90,000, I highly doubt this game. This is my third time saying, I'm trying to hammer in the point that this game is going to go above 90,000, if it hasn't, since it hasn't done so already. And plus, a lot more people are getting news of how woke and how utterly ridiculous some of the aspects of the game is. And I say some because there are some good parts about the game itself, but I think most people can agree that the narrative direction they took is ridiculous. Let me know in the comment section what you think can be done about Dragon Age as a franchise right now. Do you think there's any hope? Do you think that another team can come in and save the game, save the franchise? Just want to know your thoughts because, yeah, this is crazy at this point. So the last of the articles I want to touch on is the reports of the mass refunds going on. Now, this is something if it's happened before, I've never seen it, or I don't really remember refunds going to this degree. So from Screenplays Magazine, Dragon Age the Veilguard refund requests surge after disappointing launch. So the highlights, okay, this is convenient. Many fans anticipated a dark fantasy experience with Dragon Age the Veilguard, but were let down by its cartoonish art style and perceived departure from the franchise's gritty atmosphere. I 100% agree with this. Players criticized the combat for being sluggish and repetitive with limited exploration options that reduced freedom and player choice. I partly agree with this because I do own the game, and I personally enjoy the combat, but many people don't. Last point here, coinciding with the game's launch, refund requests on Steam surged to 399,558 on November 2nd, reflecting the discontent among players and the game's underwhelming sales performance. That is insane. Dragon Age the Veilguard, launched by BioWare, aims to deepen the beloved Dragon Age universe. I have to chuckle at this. Offering new lore and gameplay mechanics. Since its release, Veilguard has struggled with poor sales, with critics highlighting its unimpressive gameplay as a major factor for its weak reception. Some fans criticize Dragon Age the Veilguard has dated visuals and performance, urging a refund due to disappointment with the game. So people mentioned the cartoony graphics. The art direction has definitely been changed. Combat also received criticism for being sluggish and repetitive, with some players mentioning that attacks felt unresponsive or clunky. Players found the combat too straightforward, as the game mainly limits exploration to hubs and mission areas, reducing freedom and player choices. Players are disappointed with the game, viewing its perceived woke approach as a departure from the franchise's original style and theme. In response, series creator David Gator criticized these viewpoints, arguing that the franchise has always embraced diversity. Now, see, that is something I have heard many people try to fall back on as a defensive measure. They like to say that Dragon Age in the past has had woke ideology, and I do agree. I and probably even yourself, I've played the original Dragon Age. I've played all of the games, Inquisition, Dragon Age 2, and it did have its subtle gay bullshit in the game. Like in Dragon Age Origins, there's those options where you can have a romance with Alistair if you are a male character. I made sure to avoid all that bullshit. But this game is very different. This game, it's like full on in your face. Anyway, let me continue with the article. So this guy says, Baldur's Gate 3 is a good example of how to add inclusive content while maintaining a cohesive narrative. You don't forcefully shove messages of current real-world problems down people's throat. Dragon Age Veilguard is a step backwards from what Baldur's Gate 3 did for gaming in my opinion. There are many games that have these woke ideology, basically people, the modern audience, which I've said in prior videos, makes up of the gays, the lesbians, the trannies, and then the woke mob, those people that want to race and gender swap everything. And then you put those two factions together, you get the modern audience. So that's where the narrative direction of this game is targeting. I do want to speak at length about this more, but I think I'll save that for a different video because I have a lot to say about it. But what I will say about just my first initial impressions of playing the game, because I do own Dragon Age the Veilguard, I do enjoy the combat. I'm still new into the game. I think I met the elf character, the Asian elf. So I'm not far into the game, but with all of the reveals and the YouTubers that showed footage further into the game, I know what's to come, and I know the game is basically an alphabet community simulator on a lot of fronts. The combat, like I said, in fact, I actually like the music as well. The music, once I learned that Hans Zimmer actually directed the score of the music, which I was surprised. But yeah, this game, too woke, and it's definitely going broke. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know, is there any way to salvage this game? And are you concerned about what they may do with Mass Effect 5? Hopefully, if this video related to you in any kind of way, please smash that subscribe button and hit the bell for, anytime I upload something, you're the first to get notified.